each and every quarterback that is taking reps.
Can you hear the chants? Kenny, and there's a quick handoff. Steven Sims, the man who made people miss on that punt return, got big yardage there, and he takes it inside the 30, and this stadium is jacked.
Hey, what's up, guys? DZAN's not here because he's lazy. I think we should fire him. Everybody that wants to fire DZAN, please put it in the comments below. So we're not going to do a podcast this week, but I wanted to get a video up for everybody. And it's not an obligatory video. It has a purpose. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in a very interesting situation. So a lot of people kind of wrote the Steelers off. And truth be told, and I hate to say this wearing this hat right now, kind of one of those guys. Because there was so much uncertainty. Ben's gone, Juju's gone. There's a lot happening with very key positions on the team. And then we got a glimpse of Kenny Pickett last week and throwing balls on the money. He was dropping dimes. Olszewski was killing it. Nobody saw that coming. Jaylen Warren, 4-string running back, tearing it up, scores a touchdown. Mason Rudolph, and we'll talk about Mason here in a minute, but I don't care what you say. That was a bucket drop that he created for George Pickens. I mean, that was very reminiscent. Calm down. Hear me out. It was very reminiscent of Ben's throw to Santonio Holmes in the end zone versus the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. And the reason I say that is because of the location and the ball placement. Ben threw it on a rope and Mason dropped it in a bucket. That's the only difference, really. It was in almost the same spot, and it was a throw that only George Pickens, Santonio Holmes could have made, which is what you want from a quarterback. And so as much as people want to get on a train, a very fast Amtrak moving train, to get Mason out of town, I think we should be careful because you never know what can happen. And having him on the roster is a bit of a security blanket, in my opinion. As much as Yinzers and Steelers fans may not want to agree with that, I'm kind of spitting facts here because we don't know what Mitch is going to be. We don't know really what Kenny's going to be. What happens if one of them gets injured and the other one is just playing like shit? What are you going to do? You're going to go to Chris Oladokun? We don't know anything about him. So I think we need to be careful with shoving him out of town. And, last thing in the world you want is a Kurt Warner situation, right? So that brings us to Kenny Pickett. He looked so good. With all of that stuff behind me, he looked so good. And it's going to take a little getting used to. I'm not a fan of the two gloves, but it is what it is. Just because it doesn't look good doesn't mean it's not effective. So if it's going to keep him from dropping the ball, getting strip sacks, so be it. Wear a set of iron nails if you have to, But anyway, so keeping this moving forward, George Pickens. George fucking Pickens, man. Second round. Do you know how many teams? 11? I believe it was 11 teams passed on him. 11 teams that took wide receivers that chose other players over George Pickett's. I knew that was a good pick. I had no idea he was going to be the best receiver in the class. It's not just that play, guys. He's the best receiver in the class. Deal with it. Sorry about it. You had your shot at him, right? Right, Michael? Philly had their shot for him. No, George Pickens, in all seriousness, he does look to be the part for sure. And that's very exciting. And, let's talk a little bit of defense here. Why is everybody sleeping on this defense? I realize that we had some run issue problems towards the end of last season, but what are we talking about here? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They get after the quarterback. That's what they do. And if you think TJ Watt is going to end up with 8 sacks this season, you've lost your mind, barring injury. You've lost your mind. Cam Hayward, I don't care what anybody says, is the best defensive lineman in football. And I am speaking directly to you, Aaron Donald people. Aaron Donald is a great, he's a Hall of Famer without question, especially after last season with the Super Bowl. But you guys, watch film. You watch Cam Hayward. You watch number 97. And I challenge anybody to send me a video of Cam taking a play off. He doesn't do that ever. I don't think he's ever once done that in his entire career. He doesn't take plays off. So, sorry about it. Now, I was debating on whether to bring this up or not, but I'm going to, because I don't give a shit. There's 13 people watching this podcast. What am I risking? DeShaun Watson. So the ruling came down yesterday about DeShaun, and they settled on 11 games. And then he proceeds to release a statement talking about how sorry he is for the situation. And then somehow follows it up with a press conference, undoing everything he said in the statement. I want DeShaun Watson to play. I am dying for DeShaun Watson to play, because dude is going to get exposed. He's soft. You Browns fans, you are the gift that keeps giving. You are so sold on this guy because your owner is an idiot and handed him $230 million. For what? For what? What has that guy ever done for his team? Not for himself. What has he ever done? We know he loves happy endings, right? I'm just spitting facts. He loves happy endings. I don't recall watching a game where DeShaun Watson took over. I've seen DeAndre Hopkins take over games. I've never seen DeShaun Watson take over a game. You couple that with the fact that he's not in an indoor building on turf for 8.5 games a year. No, he's in the the AFC North. He's in the AFC North. They don't have indoor stadiums. They don't have pretty turf. They have TJ Watt. They have Cam Hayward. They got Ngakoue in Baltimore. What are we doing here, man? I don't understand for the life of me why the Browns wanted him so bad. He's undersized. For that division, he's undersized. For that division, he is not built for it. He's not big enough. What do you think's going to happen to DeShaun Watson when Baltimore is just unleashing guys on him? You don't think he's going to get hit? He's going to get smoked. I don't know, man. I don't know what you guys are doing over there. But I thank you. I cannot wait until DeShaun. I don't want him to be suspended other than for the women that he abused, allegedly. Other than that, I want him on the field because I can't wait till he gets exposed. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that he went from the AFC South to the AFC North. Different worlds, man. Different worlds altogether. Their toughest team in the division is the Colts. And they play on turf. Indoors. Nobody's talking about this, man. Dude's going to get exposed, man. I'm telling you. I've seen this. I'm too old to not have seen too much. I've watched way too much AFC North football for that. No, sir. Speaking of AFC North football, right now, am in Jacksonville, Florida. My wife and I are going to see the Steelers play the Jags, game 2. Kenny Pickett is supposed to be getting a lot of playing time. So I think that, and we're getting back to this, I think that is going to be the game where we all can say more definitively, yes, we need that guy versus Cincinnati in week 1. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I prefer to play Mitch all season long. All season. Play Mitch and let Kenny sit behind him like he did like Mitch did with Josh Allen last year. It seems to have done a lot for Mitch. And I think it would be very, very good for Kenny. Also, the more you make him wait, I think the more dialed in he'll be when the time comes. There's just a lot of reasons to make him wait. And I know Steelers fans don't want to hear that. And I don't want to really hear about it either necessarily. I wish Kenny was just so good that they had to play him right away. We'll find out Saturday. We'll find out tomorrow whether that may be the case or not. It's not a certainty that we'll find out, but there's a very good chance that we'll find out a lot more information because keep in mind, in regards to last week, he's in Pittsburgh. He's at Acrisure Stadium. Not happy about that. He's at Acrisure Stadium. There's a ton, and that's where Pitt plays, right? There's a ton of Pitt fans there. I heard one of the reporters, the beat reporters in Pittsburgh, use the phrase, how did he say that? I'm sorry, I just lost my thought there on that. But anyway, Kenny is, last Saturday, he's in a situation where he's got everything kind of going for him. He's going against the thirds. And granted, you keep in mind, in all fairness, everybody that's talking about the fact that he's going with the thirds, he was also playing with thirds. So let's balance that one out a little, right? That's tough to do. Those are glorified college players, right? Most of those guys aren't even going to be on the team after next week. Some of them aren't on the team this week. So, yeah. We don't have enough information. Being on the road in Jacksonville, and while it's true, Jacksonville's not a terribly tough challenge for him, it is on the road. He's not in the comfort of his home stadium where all his friends and family and everything else were. This week, I think, is going to be much more indicative of who Kenny Pickett is. So that's where I got for you guys this week. I hope it was good enough. And it didn't have DZAN, so it was a big benefit. Peace, guys.